President Joe Biden announces his plan to visit Sub-Saharan Africa, stressing that he's serious about increasing U.S. attention on the continent. The president also said that he will dispatch many of his top advisors to Africa, including Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. White House Correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen?
Good evening to you, Tracy. Well, President Joe Biden made those commitments at the end of a three-day summit he's been hosting here in Washington, D.C. He also pledged $165 million to support peaceful, credible elections in Africa, where voting sometimes sparks violence.
The United States is all in on Africa.
At a convention center in the nation's capital, President Joe Biden addresses dozens of presidents and prime ministers gathered for the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. First, he remembers one African country where over 140 people have been killed by recent floods and landslides, and offering any help the U.S. can provide.
And let me also convey my condolences to the people of the Democratic Republic of the Congo for the tragic loss of life and the communities impacted due to the flooding.
Also today, President Biden announces his support for adding the African Union, which represents the continent's 54 countries, to become a member of one international economic group that is composed of the world's major industrial and emerging economies.
And today I'm also calling for the African Union to join the G20 as a permanent member of the G20.
Meanwhile, COVID-19 case increases projected around the holidays. Now the Biden administration is making 4 rapid virus tests available for free through the website covidtest.gov. And in the White House press briefing room today,
we don't want this winter to look like last winter or the winter before. And it doesn't have to. What's different is that we have an updated vaccine that targets a version of the virus we're fighting. But we need people to get that vaccine.
Also tonight, Russia warns of possible consequences if the U.S. supplies Ukraine with Patriot surface-to-air missiles, the most advanced the West has offered to repel Russian aerial attacks, although it's unclear what those consequences might be.
Now back to the COVID pandemic. Dr. Jha also says if you get sick, then check to see if you're eligible for treatments. There are a lot of options for patients that may help you get better sooner. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.